Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Kajur, but first are the headlines. Janet Museveni to host second youth convention on entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Uganda and China deny takeover of international airport. And UN demands rapid return of civilians to power in Mali and Guinea. In our sports today, the first ever FIFA Arab Cup kicks off in Qatar on Tuesday. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. Now, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, is set to host the second youth convention on Thursday this week. Now, the convention will be held virtually on Zoom under the theme of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, emerging critical skills for the 21st century youth. It is organized by Uganda Youth Forum in partnership with Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. We have more on this report.
In her weekly letters to the youth, Janet Museveni said that this week is a very special week for young people across the country. Janet Museveni said that Uganda has one of the youngest populations in the world, with about 78% under the age of 30, something that possesses a challenge in terms of unemployment, high dependency, violence, and crime. The minister said in her letter that the young population has great potential for development, hence an opportunity for Uganda as a country to harness the demographic dividends. She added that this can be done through being intentional in human capital development through skilling, retooling, attitude and mindset change, and promoting education that touches the head, the heart and the hands. She said that this convention is therefore timely, especially given the COVID-19 situation and the impact it has had on young people, businesses and the economy. She added that they are privileged to have experts like Mr. Charles Ochichi from Enterprise Uganda, Mr. Paul Wafula from Inspire Synergy, Professor Patrick Ogwang, the manufacturer of Covidex from Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and many young leaders with inspiring stories who will be participating in the interactive panel discussions, not forgetting Pastor Wilson Bugembe, who will be on hand to entertain the guests. She encouraged those interested to register for the convention to register via online. The First Lady summed up that she looked forward to interacting with young people during the convention and would like to thank the leadership of Uganda Youth Forum and Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity for organizing the convention. She added that she's confident that it will add value in empowering the young people in the areas of entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship, mindset change, and equipping them with the requisite technical and soft skills for the 21st century youth.
Away from that, Ugandan authorities have denied reports that international airport in the capital could be given away to China. Now, the story was reported this week by the Daily Monitor newspaper. Our reporter has more.
According to the Daily Monitor newspaper, if Uganda defaults on the debt repayment, it could trigger a takeover from lender Export-Import Bank from China. The story sparked a reaction from government officials and the Chinese embassy in Uganda, both denying any truth in the allegations. The loan was contracted in 2015 to expand Uganda's only international airport. The $2,000 million loan is to be paid over a period of 20 years, and Uganda is still within a 7-year grace period. The progress of workers at the airport, built in 1972, has reached 75.2%, with the 2 runways having reached overall completion of 10%. In his tweet about the matter, Vianney Luja, the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority Public Affairs Manager, the allegations that Entebbe Airport has been given away for cash is false, emphasizing that government of Uganda can't give away such a national asset. Entebbe International Airport handles over 1.9 million passengers per year.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Moving on, in our top stories, government has been urged to support locally made products to help boost the country's economy. The call was made by Mr. Deus Robert Magezi, Director Novita Company, during the launch of the company products at Hotel Africana in Kampala. We have more on this report.
Speaking at the launch of Novita products, the approved hair and skincare products, the company director, Deus Robert Magezi, said local companies help create jobs for citizens, which boosts the economy of the country, hence asking government to give a hand.
Twetaaga obuyambi obw'enjawulo tulabike nga tubayambako. So tusanze obuvubuka nti nga nze omu nyinza obutasobola kukikola. Naye ate ewali gavumenti manyi nti buli kimu kisoboka.
He said they also plan to develop the youths by providing skills, ideas and employment in order to fulfill the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda Bubu government policy.
Tulinamu enteekateeka ey'abavubuka era nga mu bavubuka muno tugezaako okulaba bakulaakulanye batya, bavudde batya mu bwavu. Bavudde batya mu bwavu. N'olw'ensonga eyo tusaba gavumenti ebitongole byonna balabike nti batuyambako tulabike nga tukulaakulanya omuvubuka.
The Buy Uganda, Build Uganda is a government policy that was approved by Cabinet in 2014 to promote the consumption and procurement of goods and services produced locally. This will encourage foreign and local investors to produce locally, improve capacity of local producers to supply government, enhance the quality and competitiveness on the local and international market, create jobs and drive the country to achieve the middle income status.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. We'll take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In our international news, the head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Mahamat Saleh Al-Dadif, say that the military in power in Guinea and Mali must work for a rapid return to civilian rule in both countries. We have more on this report.
Mahamat said this during a special meeting to discuss the prevailing situations in the two countries, further calling for a return to constitutional order. Mahamat said that they believe simply that with the latest measures that have been taken, particularly with regard to Mali, they still hope that a solution will be found, having taken the ECOWAS decision seriously, and that they will move towards a way out of the crisis. He further said that reasonable deadlines are needed in relation to Guinea, but unfortunately the West African country has not yet presented any plan for an election. With regard to coastal countries, Mahamat said that his approach to all the coastal countries which he has met is to draw their attention to the possible risks of a link between what is happening in the Sahel and what is happening in the maritime piracy for organized crime in the Gulf of Guinea. He added that they should have a regional approach rather than seeing those in the Sahel and those in the Gulf of Guinea. The military in Guinea overthrew the former president Alpha Conde, who had been in power for 10 years, on September 5th. Colonel Mamadi Doumbia has since been sworn in as president for an unspecified transitional period.
Away from that, local experts say that voter turnout in Saturday's local elections in Algeria was still below expectations, despite some improvements. Now, according to the election authorities, a voter turnout reached around 35%. This is another 12% more compared to parliamentary elections held in June.
The Algeria government hopes this election confirms support for President Tebboune that succeeded Abdelaziz Bouteflika in 2019. Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune said that they are continuing to establish the state institutions, adding that the grassroots state institutions are the municipalities and the governorates, all the local collectives. The president said that it's true that they don't have great prerogatives and that it is due to the fact that they do not have the centralized resources. Despite the presidential pleas, voter turnout appeared low in the capital. More than 134,000 candidates are running for the various seats. However, some 300,000 applications were rejected by electoral authorities. Opposition parties denounced the move as
Moving on, former Ethiopian Olympian Haile said he is ready to join the fight against the Tigray rebels in the north of the country. Now, on Friday, a state-affiliated broadcaster showed images of the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed purportedly directing troops in the front line.
Haile Gebrselassie, Olympic gold medalist, said that since he is a major in the police force, people should not get surprised if he held a weapon because he already has a weapon. The Ethiopian government declared a state of emergency this month as Tigray fighters moved closer to the capital, Addis Ababa. The United States and others have told their citizens to abandon the country immediately. The former Olympian responded to the United States' call on its citizens to leave Ethiopia immediately, emphasizing that Ethiopians have a relationship with the whole world, with Americans for over 100 years, Germany for over 100 years, France for over 100 years, many countries over 100 years. Therefore, asking them to leave feels bad for them. The conflict between the government and the rebels from the Tigray People's Liberation Front has been active for over 1 year. The violence has caused tens of thousands of victims.
Away from that, passengers at Johannesburg OR Tambo airports scrambled this Saturday to fight flights to Europe as more and more countries are shutting doors to passengers coming from African countries. Now, the emergency of the new coronavirus Omicron variant in South Africa sparked a worldwide reaction. Our reporter has more.
Professor of Immunology Danny Altman, the academic working at Imperial College London, explained that it feels very harsh to people in South Africa who have really done the right thing and been terribly speedy and vigilant in their reporting. He said that he feels that they were so slow to act on Delta and the whole world paid such a high price for it. Last-minute PCR tests are now mandatory. The UK-based professor believes that vaccination still offers protection against the worst effects of this disease. Professor Altman said that there is no reporting from South Africa yet that cases are more severe, and it looks like vaccines may still be doing something because they heard yesterday that people in hospital tended to be the unvaccinated ones rather than the vaccinated. In Africa, vaccination rates are significantly lower compared to Europe, the United States, and other regions. According to Professor Altman, distribution of vaccines throughout Africa is essential to stop future variants. Professor Altman noted that if this particular case did come out of Botswana and all South Africa, there has been quite a lot of vaccine available there, although in the African continent as a whole, there have been very short vaccines compared to Europe or North America. The latest available data indicates that South Africa has registered almost 3 million cases of COVID-19 and close to 90,000 deaths.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the business news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa the Right. Now, in a business news today, the summit Africa-China opened on Sunday in Senegal's capital Dakar. Trade and security are the main topics in discussion. Now, during the opening, the Senegalese Minister of Foreign Affairs appealed to China for help in bringing peace to the Sahel region. We have more on this report.
Aissata Tall Sell, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Senegal, said that they would like China's influence to be a strong voice in support of Senegal and all the countries involved in the problem of insecurity in the Sahel, so that their forces there have even more legal means to fight against terrorists and irredentism, and they hope that China will accompany them. China remains the continent's main trading partner. Direct exchanges reached $200 billion in 2019, according to the Chinese embassy in Dhaka. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Senegal wants to maintain the links to China. Aissata Tall Sell concluded that they maintain this financial cooperation with transparency and responsibility so as not to worsen their level of indebtedness. He added that they took great care to ensure that their debt does not exceed the criteria and conditions that have been set, and they do so with absolute transparency, not only with respect to China, but also with respect to the Senegalese people to whom they owe an account. The summit takes place after a visit in November by North American Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who visited Kenya, Nigeria, and Senegal. The summit ends on Tuesday.
Away from business, in our health news today, students in South Africa are worried about the new Omicron variant identified in the country. Now, the rise is the number of infections among students have led to the postponement of tests and exams, as explained by Nlanhla Africa Mafosa, a student at Tshwane University of Technology.
Nlanhla Africa Mafosa, a student at Tshwane University of Technology, said that it was just last week when they checked stats, then they realized that so many students are affected by COVID-19 at the main campus, which led to the postponement of tests and exams. He added that even though they have the stats, they are not that sure what number of people are affected and other staff, but insisted that a high level or a high percentage of students have got COVID-19. Although it is not yet clear if the new variant causes more serious disease, many students are urging colleagues to vaccinate. Makomba Zitha, a former student at Tshwane University of Technology, said that he is trying to encourage the students so that they can vaccinate and stay away from coronavirus because it's there and it's killing people with the numbers rising. This university was identified as a hotspot of infections, but there are other areas affected too, according to officials. Sifo Starman, spokesperson for the city of Tshwane, said that there is an increase in the number of new COVID cases from below 50 cases reported per day over the last 2 weeks to over 300 cases confirmed per day. He added that the hotspot areas would be Tat West Campus, Hatfield, Soshanguve and Mamelodi as areas of concern. He, however, mentioned that they cannot at this stage confirm whether the new variant is a factor in this increase. The new variant is thought to be highly transmissible, but health professionals are yet to establish if it causes more severe disease. In response to the emergence of a new COVID-19 variant in the country, the UK government has placed South Africa and 5 other countries onto its travel red list. The World Health Organization cautioned against imposing travel restrictions, saying it would take weeks to understand the implications of the newly discovered strain.
In In our sports news today, the first ever FIFA Arab Cup kicks off in Qatar on Tuesday. The competition is seen as a dress rehearsal for the World Cup, which will take place in the Emirates in a year's time. Now, it will pit the best teams in the Arab world against each other until the grand finale on 18th December. Our reporter has more.
6 African teams are in the running: the African champions Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco and Mauritania, as well as Egypt and Sudan. They will be playing against another 10 national teams from the Middle East. It's also an opportunity to discover the brand new stadiums built in Doha to host the next World Cup. From a sports point of view, the competition promises to be interesting even outside the FIFA dates. There will be no players from European clubs, but some stars from African continents will be present, such as Algeria's Baghdad Bonja, Youssef Belaili and Youssine Brahimi. Egypt will rely on the backbone of African club champions Al Ahly, while Morocco can count on the best players of the last chance Sofiane Rahimi. Qatar will open the tournament on Tuesday evening against Bahrain, while Tunisia, the tournament's top-ranked nation in the FIFA rankings, will take on the Mauritania Morabitons.
Well, thank you so much for being a low audience from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.